Welcome back to Dinar Community. In today's episode, we're diving into a potentially game-changing development that could alter the financial future for those holding Iraqi Dinar (IQD) and Vietnamese Dong (VND). For years, speculation about a possible currency revaluation (RV) has circulated, sparking hope and debate across the global currency community. Although the timeline for such a revaluation has remained uncertain, recent updates suggest we may finally be approaching a pivotal moment. New reports hint that major global financial institutions are actively preparing for changes in currency values, particularly concerning the IQD and VND. This has fueled speculation that a long-awaited shift could be closer than ever. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a dedicated currency holder, or simply intrigued by global economics, the latest buzz is impossible to ignore. Many now believe that 2025 could be the year the revaluation becomes more than just a theory. This episode unpacks all the new information, expert insights, and essential steps you should consider to be ready if this historic revaluation truly comes to pass. The currency world is currently abuzz with unverified yet significant chatter. Several sources in the foreign exchange community are claiming that Wells Fargo, a powerhouse in U.S. banking, is making behind-the-scenes preparations for a potential revaluation of both the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong. These claims suggest the bank is upgrading internal systems, training staff, and readying its infrastructure for what could be large-scale currency exchange events. Although Wells Fargo has not issued any official confirmation, the consistency of these reports has caught the attention of analysts, investors, and observers worldwide. For longtime holders of these currencies, these rumors are being viewed as early signs of long-awaited validation. If there is truth to Wells Fargo's preparation, it could indicate that institutional players are aware of broader financial changes in motion. Adding to this intrigue are whispers that other banking giants may also be getting ready. Reports suggest that J.P. Morgan Chase and HSBC have taken quiet steps to accommodate possible changes involving IQD and VND. Allegedly, updates to banking systems now include codes for both currencies, and some digital financial platforms have started displaying these codes more visibly. While skeptics argue these might simply be placeholders, others view them as a signal that global recognition of these currencies is gradually taking shape. The silence from the banks may, in fact, be strategic, hinting at coordinated action possibly involving central banks or international financial regulators. Many within the community interpret this silence as confirmation that major shifts are being orchestrated behind closed doors. One of the main reasons this speculation has reignited is due to economic progress in both Iraq and Vietnam. In Iraq, the central bank has implemented several reforms aimed at stabilizing the dinar. Their foreign currency reserves now exceed $100 billion, a milestone that reflects increased financial resilience. The booming oil sector is pumping new revenue into the nation, much of which is being directed toward infrastructure and modernization efforts. Meanwhile, Iraq is welcoming foreign investment and engaging with major global companies. On the other hand, Vietnam continues to grow as a global manufacturing powerhouse, with robust exports to markets like the US and Europe. Its banking sector is embracing digital transformation, and new trade partnerships are boosting the dong's legitimacy on the world stage. Together, these two countries are building the financial and structural groundwork that could support a significant revaluation. Popular figures in the dinar and dong communities are closely watching every move. Well-known names like Frank 26 and Mark Z are offering insights and updates that many believe point toward an upcoming shift. Frank 26 suggests Wells Fargo's rumored actions could be part of a broader, coordinated multi-currency reset. Mark Z has mentioned seeing placeholder rates for the IQD nearing $4 and the VND approaching $2.89 on test platforms, though he emphasizes that these figures are speculative and not set in stone. Both analysts agree that delays in the past weren't indicators of failure but were necessary for setting up a secure, globally integrated financial infrastructure. Now that the groundwork appears to be in place, many in the community are watching closely for the next big announcement. If Wells Fargo is truly preparing for these exchanges, that could be a turning point. As a leading U.S. bank with a long-standing reputation in international finance, Wells Fargo's participation would add significant legitimacy to any revaluation process. It would imply that this isn't just a fringe theory, but rather a well-coordinated effort involving some of the world's most trusted financial institutions. Such involvement could also encourage other banks to join in, widening access and building confidence among investors and everyday currency holders. A successful exchange process through major banks would help ensure transparency, security, and scalability. Given everything we've discussed, what can you do to get ready? Here are some smart, proactive steps to consider. 1. Stay informed. Make sure to follow verified sources and avoid sensational claims that aren't backed by evidence. 2. Get your financial accounts in order. If you bank with Wells Fargo, HSBC, or Chase, it's worth making sure your accounts are active and compliant. 3. Seek professional advice. A financial advisor can help you plan how to manage any potential financial windfall. 4. Beware of scams. With excitement comes risk. Only engage in currency exchanges through legitimate, regulated channels. 5. Practice patience. Revaluations, if they happen, require international cooperation, economic alignment, and political stability. If the RV of IQD and VND becomes a reality, the effects could ripple across the globe. A stronger dinar and dong would likely attract foreign direct investment (FDI) into both countries, boost economic confidence, and potentially position Iraq and Vietnam as rising powers in their respective regions. Additionally, this shift could signal a move away from US dollar dominance in global finance, ushering in a more diversified and balanced international monetary system. Regional currencies could gain more traction, making the world's financial landscape less dependent on a single reserve currency. Still, major hurdles remain. To see a successful revaluation, both Iraq and Vietnam must maintain stable political and economic environments. A sudden increase in currency value must also be managed carefully to avoid inflation, which could hurt local populations. Furthermore, global institutions like the IMF and WTO would likely need to play a guiding role to ensure the revaluation is fair, transparent, and beneficial in the long term. Watch for key indicators moving forward. Official statements from the Central Bank of Iraq, the State Bank of Vietnam, or major financial institutions like Wells Fargo would be the clearest signs. Monitoring live currency rates via Forex platforms and financial apps can also offer early warnings of sudden value changes. Additionally, any policy updates from the Iraqi or Vietnamese governments on how exchanges would be handled could signal that a shift is on the horizon. We may be entering a defining moment for currency holders. The accumulation of bank upgrades, credible rumors, and economic reforms has brought a wave of optimism to the community. If the behind-the-scenes efforts by institutions like Wells Fargo are indeed true, then everything may be in place for the long-awaited RV to begin. This could be the dawn of a new financial era for patient, well-informed holders of IQD and VND. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dinar Community for more updates. What are your thoughts on the recent developments? Are you prepared for what might be coming? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next update.